everyone, this is Chef B here, back with some demonstration videos. Today we are going to be making an American sponge cake, or a genoise. So I have my ingredients here. We have our eggs and egg yolks, of course, which are what make the base of the cake, because we're going to whip that into a foam. We have our sugar, and I have it actually heating in the oven right now, because for this particular recipe you warm it in the oven. It just helps let the eggs get to room temperature and build a more stable foam. Of course, we have our cake flour here, which is our basic structure for a cake. You can use all-purpose flour. It totally works still. That's fine. We do have a little bit of extra leavening action, so this one does have a little baking powder in it just to give us a little extra leavening action. We have vanilla and salt, of course, for our seasonings. Butter, which is, of course, the French version, because they add melted butter into it, just to make it a little more rich. And then, of course, we have our liquid, which is our milk. So what we're going to do first is we're going to microwave that. We're going to move this out of the way. We're going to get our mixing bowl here, and we're going to add our eggs. Now we can use a machine. It works really good that way. You can use just a hand mixer. That's totally fine. That works as well. We're going to add our salt and our flavorings. Then we're going to get this out of the way here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to scooch our mixer in here so everyone can see it, hopefully. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave that on there really quick. Sorry, I'm doing it sideways. It's a little weird. So we're going to put this on here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get my sugar, which is in the oven over here. So I basically put that in the oven for about 6-8 minutes at 400 degrees. Now you can see it doesn't caramelize it or anything, but it just gets it hot enough. So then what we're going to do is we're going to grab the corners very carefully. So I usually put this on parchment so it's easier to grab. So I just pull this up from the parchment. And then of course we're going to dump our hot sugar right in there. Okay, we're going to get that guy going. So I let it kind of mix together until it's smooth, and then we're gonna, once it gets going and it's ready, we're gonna crank it. So you want to let that mix about 10 minutes, and in the meantime, while that's mixing, I'm gonna heat my butter and my milk, get that ready, and then I'm also gonna get my pan ready, which I can show you how we're gonna butter the pan and get that done. So we're gonna push this off to the side here. So you can see it's getting pretty fluffy. The bottom is very, very warm. We're gonna let that continue to mix. And in the meantime, I'm gonna show you, basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna brush the sides of this with melted butter, put a little flour in there, and we're actually gonna grease and flour the parchment as well. now you can really see it. It's really light lemon color, very, very fluffy. We're gonna let that go for a few more minutes, and then we should be ready to mix our batter together, our cake batter, and then place it in the pan. So you can see it's really fluffy now, so I'm gonna continue to let that mix a little bit more. With the dry ingredients for this, what I like to do is I actually like to sift them about 3 times just to make sure you get a nice airy cake. So I'm just gonna do this back and forth a couple times. And this really ensures that you get, especially if you're using cake flour tends to be a little bit lumpy. So we're just gonna go back and forth. Okay, so I think this is ready. So we're gonna take this off here, and then I'm gonna show you. So you can see how nice and airy that is. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean that off here a little bit. All right, so just so you can see it, so we have our batter here. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add about 1/3 of the flour. And then we're just gonna very carefully start stirring. So you'll notice that it's gonna kind of try and fight the fat. So then we're gonna add a little bit of our warm milk butter mixture. And we're just gonna continue folding very carefully. And I'm just kind of stirring in circle motions here, scraping around the side. What you don't want to do is like tap it, because then you'll of course knock the air out. Okay, that looks pretty good here. Then we're going to add a little more flour, and another 1/3. The rest of our milk mixture. We're just continually just folding it very carefully. So this is a very, very light cake. So this is a vanilla sponge. And then we'll add the rest of our flour here. And then you just want to stir it until it's incorporated. So if you look at this, it's really, really light and fluffy. It makes for great cakes. So an American sponge, or a Genoise, which they call it in French. Okay, make sure you get at the bottom too, because sometimes there's some flour that likes to hide down there. See, I just found him right there. So I just kind of go around one more time, make sure there's no hidden flour pockets. Oh, there's another one. All right, and then I have my oven preset for, it is a 375, so we're gonna put that in our pan. So the good thing about these is they don't take very long to bake. So they only take about 10, 12 minutes. Okay, and then of course I want to spread it all the way out. All the way. Make sure you get all the way to your sides. Oh, see, there's a little flour hiding there, so we're just going to kind of fold him in there. And that's one of the other reasons you want to sift your flour, because cake flour is notorious for bunching up. All right, and then we're basically just gonna put that in the oven, 10 minutes. And basically we're just gonna touch the top, make sure it's nice and spongy. And then when it's done, in the next video, I'll show you basically how we're gonna roll it. Once it's done, you let it cool about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna roll it this way so we get a nice long Yule log. That way we can cut some of the ends off and make little branches. So we'll see you in the next video.